This video is to help you correct your homework for section 7.3.1. Homework 786 through 790 were the problems. So in 786, you were supposed to think about the fact that inverse operations would undo each other and then write the inverse operation for each situation. So the inverse operation to adding 3/4 would be to subtract 3/4. Inverse operation to subtracting 1 2/3 is to add 1 2/3. Inverse operation to divide by 8 is to multiply by 8. And the inverse operation to multiply by 12, is to divide by 12. So these, again, would undo the previous operations. For 787, you were supposed to write the steps that matched. And what you should have had is your first step is pick a number. Again, we use that whenever we're thinking of a variable term or an x tile. Then add 3. Then multiply by 3. I would also take if you put triple it there. Then subtract 3. Then divide by 3. And lastly, subtracting the original number. For 788, you had to draw a rectangle with a width of 5 and a length of 7 units, and draw a new rectangle that is an enlarged copy of the original and has a length of 13, and how you could calculate the width. So what we want to do is we want to think about the fact that basically this is our original, right? Width is 5, the length is 7. This is our new rectangle. We don't know its width, but we know its length is 13. And again, we have a couple different ways we can think about doing it. One is that we can set up a proportion. The width needs to be, across from the width, or in other words, it needs to be aligned with the width, and the length needs to be aligned with the length. So 5 aligns with the new width. We don't know that value yet. 7 aligns with the new length. And in that case, you could use cross products to solve it. So you could multiply 5 times 13 diagonally across, and then divide by the third value of 7. Right? That would be one way to find that missing value, which is about 9 3/10. Another way you could do it is you could look at, and this is what the book had recommended, you could look at what was the multiplier. What was the multiplier that got you from 7 to 13? And then you want to use that same multiplier to get from 5 to the new width. So again, we see that down here as well. So the way to figure that out is to take 13, the new length, and divide by the original length. 13 divided by 7 gives you approximately 1.86 as the enlargement or multiplier. And then when you take that 5 times 1.86, then you get the new width as well of 9 3/10. So again, it's a different way to approach it, but it will work just as well. Taking the new length divided by the original length, giving you the multiplier, and then using that multiplier to find that missing width. For 789, Kate has 5 sandwiches to share with 3 of her friends. If each person gets the same amount of sandwich, how much will they each get? Well, if you take 5 sandwiches and divide by 3 friends, then keep in mind, know that there are 4 people. So we've got to include Kate. She gets part of the sandwich as well. So 5 divided by 4 gives each person 1 1/4 sandwiches. So again, you want to think about the fact that there's 5 sandwiches, but it's being divided by 4 people because she's sharing with her friends, but she's included as well. Then you need to find the area and perimeter of this. So this first shape is a parallelogram. So the way that you find its area is to multiply the base times perpendicular height. Again, you should write down what you're putting in your calculator, although you're allowed to use a calculator for that. So 20 2/10 times 12. And then you should also put down how you find the perimeter, which is, of course, adding the 4 side lengths. And so then you end up getting your answers of 68 4/10 centimeters for perimeter and 242 4/10 square centimeters for area. For the second one, which is a trapezoid, for your perimeter, again, you're just going to add up your sides. And again, you can just write down what you put into the calculator for that. And for your area, you're going to want to use your area of a trapezoid formula, which remember is to take the base, and it doesn't matter which base you start with. So 7 plus 17 and 8/10. So you're going to add the two bases together. And then either divide by 2 and then multiply by perpendicular height, or multiply by perpendicular height, then divide by 2. The order of those last two steps does not matter, as long as we do them both. So put into your document what you basically would put into your calculator. So 7 plus 17 and 8/10 divided by 2 times 4. And of course, this needs to be in parentheses, so we do that first. So you end up getting a perimeter of 38 and 3/10 and an area of 49 and 6/10. And again, the correct labels for all of these: square units for area and just the units for perimeter.